Do you think UConn is an all-time great team?
So this is tricky because they're the back-to-back champions. They beat everyone in both tournaments by more than a dozen points. They
Yeah.
covered every game. They obviously won every game. Yesterday's game went the way a lot of UConn games have gone, which is the other team feels like they have a chance for the first half, and then UConn just blitzes them in the second half and runs away with it. For Purdue, listen, I said on TV that I was rooting for and I was going to go ahead and pick the upset. And I said Zach Edey I thought could have a 38-point double-double is what I predicted. He had a 37-point double-double, and they got dominated. So the Edey did his thing. I don't think it was, despite the numbers, his best game, but I thought he played well. UConn's just too deep and has too much. And if you're Purdue, I credit to UConn for the game plan of, we're going to, listen, if Edey kills us, Edey kills us. We are not going to double off Edey and leave the shooters open. A Purdue team that, I'm going to check real quick, but I think for the season, shot 40% from three. And I'll get it right in just a second. From the season, shot 40% from three. Last night, made one three-pointer. 1 of 7 from three. You have no chance of competing with or beating UConn if you are not just lights out from three. And UConn is, so here's where I struggle with the all-time great team. There is so much variance in a single elimination tournament that this is almost never the case. But I feel like you could have run this tournament 10 times and UConn would have won it 8 of them. Like, that's how dominant of a team they were. That's how great they were. So in that regard, versus their contemporary competition, yes, of course, they're an all-time great team. But in regards to how would this UConn team stack up against the great teams of yesteryear college basketball, they would get annihilated. So because college basketball's just changed so much. Because the best players are not there. They don't stay for long enough. You don't have multiple great pros. Even the last back-to-back national champion in college basketball, Florida, if you look at who they had on, and that was 15 years ago, who that Florida team had on its 06 and 07 teams, they had the following guys who were big-time NBA players: Joakim Noah, Torian Green, Corey Brewer, and Al Horford. So you had 4 of your starting 5, and then they came back the next year, DeMonze.
Yeah, they won
did it again, and they added Maurice Spates off the bench, Chris Richard, who had a cup of coffee in the NBA. But when you've got, Horford, Brewer, Noah, and Torian Green, all in your starting 5, like, that is just a legendary team. You look at UConn, the UConn team that won it in 99. Let me pull up who was on that team, just to give you some context for it. So the 99 UConn team had Rip Hamilton, obviously, Khalid El-Amin, and Jake Vashkel, who, again, not great NBA players, but NBA players all over it. The UNLV team, what UNLV team, what year won it? I don't know if it's 92 or 93. But if you look at that UNLV team and you're like, oh, okay, or it's 90, pardon me. Who did they have? They had Stacey Augmon, Greg Anthony, and Larry Johnson. The Michigan team that didn't win the national championship, the Fab Five team, DeMonze, that Michigan team had, let me tell you who they had. They had Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard, Jimmy King, and Chris Webber on it. So, how it is very difficult, and I'm leaving someone out. Who am I leaving out? Ray Jackson didn't play in the league. So it's just very difficult to comp modern college basketball to previous college basketball. They had an unbelievable line, DeMonze, in the at the beginning of the game, which was, this is the first national championship game that's a matchup between 7-footers since 1984. Those 7-footers, DeMonze, were or 1984. Did I say 74? 1984. Those 7-footers were Patrick Ewing and Akeem Olajuwon. Those two guys played each other in a national championship game. And so I'm not taking a thing away from UConn. Nothing. And in modern college basketball, it is an all-time legendary team. There is no argument about it. It is not a historic team. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.